So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. 3 weeks ago, 13-year-old Omodesola Whitney Adeniro went to school just like any other child. She was hale, healthy and hearty. But a few hours later on that same day, her body laid cold and lifeless in a morgue. And the question that we all have been begging, probing and dying to know is what happened to Whitney Adeniro. The school management has claimed consistently that Adesola just slumped and died. They suggested that she had passed from a heart attack. No push, no fall, no scuffles, no physical activity, no pre-existing conditions, no signs, nothing. Unprovoked, she just died. So they claimed. In as much as we may agree that there is a tiny little fragment of chance and recorded cases of children slumping and dying suddenly from a heart attack, the big question is, what are the odds? What are the chances? What is the possibility and probability on a scale of 1 to 10 that a healthy, fit, normal weight child, a perfectly healthy 13-year-old girl with no pre-existing medical conditions, will just slump suddenly and die of a heart attack? What are the chances? You would agree with me that the statistics are extremely low and it's more unlikely than likely. In addition to probability and statistics, Whitney's mother claimed that when she met her daughter lying lifeless in the hospital, there was something strange about the way she looked. Her tongue was burnt, lips charred, mouth black as coal. It didn't take a soothsayer for Whitney's mother to be convinced that her child didn't pass from a heart attack. And there was more to her child's passing than the school was ready to divulge. Whitney's mother has first tried to explore the emotional card to unravel the mystery behind her daughter's passing. She tried appealing to the conscience of the school principal and members of staff. She had urged the school principal to take away the cloak of a staff of Chrisland school and put on the garment of a parent, of a mother, of a human being. You see, Whitney's mother had done some research about how autopsies are carried out. And according to her findings, the remains of that person will be cut from neck down to bottom. She didn't want her baby diced and sliced. She didn't want that to be the last image of her daughter that she would have to carry on with for the rest of her life. She wasn't sure that she would be able to absorb the mental trauma of having her baby laid down on the table and disseminated like a cadaver. She wanted her baby to go in one piece. She didn't want an autopsy. What she wanted was the truth. Despite having pleaded to the principal on several occasions to come out clean about what happened to Whitney, the principal insisted, stuck to the narrative that Whitney just slumped and passed. In corroboration of Mrs. Adeniro's suspicion of foul play, a leaked voice note made it out to social media. And in that recording, a child who claimed was an eyewitness to that occasion gave a detailed account of what had happened on that day. And in summary, she claims that Whitney was electrocuted. At this point, the Adeniros knew that despite it wasn't their preferred option, the conduction of a post-mortem examination was not only incumbent, but had become essential. All necessary documents were filed and the autopsy was carried out about 2 weeks ago. It was carried out in the pathology department of the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, and both parties, Chrisland School and the Adeniros, had their representatives present to ensure that it was fair, transparent, and void of foul play. And ever since news that the autopsy has been carried out made it out to social media, we've been impatiently waiting, heart in mouth, longing to get the results and to ascertain for a fact what happened to Whitney Adeniro. I had given my commitment to follow up on this case and update you guys as new facts come up. And even last week, I had the Adeniros, both Whitney's father and mother, on my channel, where we had a heart-to-heart talk and they expressed all their concerns and worries. I'm going to leave the link to that live video in the comment section or in the description box, so you can catch up with it just in case you missed it. So my dear audience, it is with the deepest and greatest feeling of dejection that I announce to you today that the result of that autopsy is finally out. And now the world can know for sure the true cause of the sudden and unfortunate demise of Omodesola Whitney Adeniro. Listen to her mother directly.
All the humiliation, all the insults that we received, I said, I owe it to my daughter for the world to know this. I promised you guys I will keep you updated as it goes. And so here I am keeping my own part of the promise. The autopsy result is out. Desola was electrocuted. My daughter died of electrocution. I have been subjected to trauma for the past 2 weeks. Tomorrow will make it 3 weeks. My baby died. This school made me think I was crazy. They made me think. To everybody who kept pushing that narrative that Omodesola was a sick child, that I should go and do tests for my other children, that me and my husband should go and run tests if we are sick. I will not say the pain I'm going through, that you will go through it. I will tell you that the God of truth and justice will judge you, because only God searches the heart. If you were paid to bully me, to insult my family, if you were paid to insult me, to kick me at my lowest, may God judge you. With pain in my heart, with tears in my eyes, on the grave of my daughter, may God in his anger judge you. My child was electrocuted to death.
That was very, 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 very hard to watch. Please guys, take a moment of your time to drop a message for Mrs. Adeniro down in the comment section. She's going to read it. Send her strengthening, encouraging messages down in the comment section. I pray that God in his infinite mercy and grace shall continue to console and strengthen the Adeniros. This pain is indescribable. Mrs. Blessing also reached out to me, sending me pictures of the hospital that her daughter was taken to when she allegedly slumped in the field on that fateful day. Take a look. The truth is, judging from the physical appearance of that structure, it looks more like an abattoir. That school, mind you, is not cheap. I made some research and their fees is actually cutthroat. It's not a school for the regular Nigerian person. It's quite expensive. So why? Why was there no ambulance on ground on that day to attend to contingencies such as that? Why were there no medics or medical personnel who could administer first aid in the event of a crisis? Why was the child taken to that sham of a hospital? Why wasn't the mother informed promptly, immediately, when that incident occurred? Why was there no quality assurance and quality control official or team who would have, prior to the event, inspected the arena and ensure that there were no hazards or dangers that could be a potential threat to the children's life or health or safety? And most critically, why was the mother of this child not spared the agony and anguish of an autopsy? Why wasn't she told the real and true reason for her child's passing. Why was it concealed from her? There are so many whys, but very little answers. So going further and choosing to bring this whole scenario to closer perspective, it will surprise you if I told you that 90 to 99%, quote me, of schools in Nigeria are just as careless and negligent as this particular one. It's just that this one came to limelight because a life was lost. It's not just peculiar to this school. It is more like a fundamental societal ill, a norm, a culture, a way of life. We take the most serious things for granted. The typical reasoning of an average Nigerian school or organization or establishment is, we rent an ambulance, say 50,000 naira or 100,000 naira for the day, and if it doesn't get used, that money just goes down the drain. So let us take back and check our records. In the last 5 years, has any incidents occurred during our sporting competition? The answer is no. So why waste the money on that? Please leave it that way. Nothing will happen. Keep that money for something else. Cut that cost, even at the expense of a potential loss of life. Nothing will happen. Then at the beginning of the event, we will start with a thunderous prayer and sanctify the whole stadium in the blood of Jesus Christ. But enough of that mindset. Enough is enough with that mindset. This is a learning point to schools and establishments. The cost of hiring an ambulance is much less than the cost of a life that may be lost in the event that that ambulance is not hired. In our society, you would see a sewage tank or a street light bending precariously, posing a potential threat and danger to the lives of people. And every day people are passing nonchalantly. Those that are meant to rectify that problem turn a blind eye to it. But the very day that somebody would fall into that sewage tank and lose his life, or that pole would drop and kill somebody, you'll see the government officials appear in the evening to seal it up, or to straighten it, to fix it. And you sit wondering, did the life really have to be lost for us to take action? Why does that always have to be the approach? Now, to wrap up this video, let us talk about this incident, legally speaking. I was having a chit chat with a friend earlier today, and she told me, "Oh, Neze, you've been following up on this case with Whitney Adeniro. I heard that it's electrocution. Perhaps there was naked wire on the floor. It's not the school's fault." And I was very quick to correct her. I told her that it wasn't naked wire on the floor. From the account of the eyewitness, it was naked wire from a cotton candy machine. But be that as it may, regardless of where the naked wire stayed, the school could still be held legally culpable for the death of Whitney Adeniro. And that culpability is under the offense of criminal negligence. So what is criminal negligence? Some of you may be dying to know. According to section 344 of the Criminal Code Act of Nigeria, I'll read it for you. Any person who unlawfully does any act or omits to do any act, or omits, I read that again for the sake of emphasis, or omits to do any act which it is his duty to do, by which act or omission harm is caused to any person, is guilty of a misdemeanor and is liable to imprisonment for 6 months. So there could be individual liability for persons directly, and there could also be corporate liability for the school. I believe this section of the law is very clear and self-explanatory. When you fail to do, you omit to do, or you do something, and by reason of your action or omission, harm occasions to somebody else, you are guilty of a crime, a misdemeanor called criminal negligence, and it's punishable by jail time, imprisonment of 6 months. And this is just one offense. Now, in addition to the crime of criminal negligence, the school could be said to have further compounded the whole issue by concealing that crime, concealing the truth of what had happened on that day, staying mum about the electrocution, and hanging on to the just slumped and died story. That on its own is another criminal offense. So we have the offense of criminal negligence, we have the offense of concealing a crime, and we have so many others that could be added to this. It is so sad, so heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching that it came to this, and a life has been lost. The Adeniros, as they mentioned on my channel when I had them interviewed, insist that this matter is not going to die a puppy death, and that Chrisland would have their day in court. I do hope that justice will prevail. In as much as I'm extremely saddened by this occurrence, I take comfort in the fact that the truth has now been unraveled, and late poor baby Whitney can now rest in peace. Do let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section. Share your thoughts, your ideas, your sentiments, and how you feel down there in the comment section. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. There is so much more coming your way. It's me, your girl, Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.